Destruction of the clan by the demonic cult guards patrol a dark hallway with torches. The reason they fought to survive is clear hidden. In the darkness of the bushes, their motive was solely their revenge. A hooded figure watches from the shadows, ready to act. Silently, the assassin leaps into the courtyard. A fire crackles in a nearby brazier. A lone guard watches near the flames. Stealthily, the intruder approaches from behind the guard. Quickly, a well-aimed blow hits the guard's neck. He falls without a sound. The assassin watches his hand near the fire. He knows they will soon notice the guard's absence. Determined, he must finish everything before that happens. The guard's body lies on the floor. An ominous feeling hangs in the air. Inside a room, an old man meditates quietly. He notices a noise outside. His eyes open, revealing a deep red color. The intruder confronts the old man, calling him heartless. The elder retorts, saying he could say the same about him. Heartless, he questions. Do you think a man cares about the insects beneath his feet when climbing a mountain? He states that no man just looks at the peak. That's how the pinnacle of martial arts is reached. That's nonsense to Kang Woon-cheon. He swears he'll finish off the heavenly demon with his own hands today. Kang Woon-cheon steps forward, enveloped in blue energy. He prepares his heavenly lightning fist. The lightning attack crackles with intensity. The heavenly demon asks if this is all he has, using the heavenly blood tide art. The old man counterattacks. He tells the young man to watch and learn. A powerful red and flaming energy forms. The two strikes collide with explosive force. Kang Woon-cheon feels the impact of his opponent's power. Wounded, the young man is surprised. He realizes that the old man used sword chi with just his hands. The heavenly demon steps forward again, promising to send him to his father. For him, the young man is already gone. Suddenly, the old man feels something different. Divine Cloud Dragon Fist. He thinks Kang Woon-cheon releases his transcendent heavenly divine palm. The heavenly demon boasts of his tempered body. His fists are harder than steel compared to the old man's bare hands, young man. But the electric attack hits him full on. The force of the blow knocks the old man back. Panting, Kang Woon-cheon remains standing. He warns the old man not to talk about his father. He asks if the heavenly demon has forgotten all the evil he committed. This is the fury of all those people he declares wounded. The heavenly demon regrets. He should have exterminated the Cloud Dragon sect back then. He admits surprised that Kang had broken his heavenly blood-tied art, not knowing what kind of enlightenment the young man received. With no other choice, the old man picks up a purple bottle. Kang Woon-cheon recognizes the item as an elixir. The heavenly demon drinks the contents quickly. The young man worries drinking so much elixir at once could cause a deviation of demonic chi. The now empty bottle shatters on the ground. An immense purple energy explodes from the heavenly demon's body. The power seems painful but transforms him. He roars, releasing even more sinister energy. The overwhelming purple energy advances on Kang Woon-cheon. The young man struggles to resist the crushing pressure. His eyes widen amidst the energy. A voice calls out to him of, "Child." The heavenly demon attacks with full force, screaming that it is time for him to disappear. Desperate, Kang Woon-cheon realizes that it is too late. Suddenly, a green energy barrier appears to protect him. The green barrier completely blocks the dark attack. A new hooded figure appears behind the magical defense. The newcomer apologizes for being late. Kang Woon-cheon recognizes him with surprise as the Great Wizard. The wizard complains about the nickname. He then asks if that is the nemesis Kang spoke of. The scene cuts to a modern room. Someone is reading this story and reacts confused. It was not a normal Murim story, asks the reader. Why did a wizard from another world appear out of nowhere? The reader sighs irritably. He was enjoying the reading, but this ruined the mood. He wonders if the author has lost his mind. How does another world make sense? He thinks his name is Jin Seowoon, and he is 23 years old. His cell phone vibrates on the table. Seowoon was discharged from the military 6 months ago and is preparing to return to college. A message arrives. It is a friend asking to play. Seowoon grumbles if the friend has no one else to call. Just like many who finished the military service, Seowoon had a good life plan before his discharge. He wanted to get certificates while preparing for college and study everything he couldn't while in the army, but he missed a lot of fun things in society. He still has some money left. Maybe he should look for a part-time job. Being a Murim novel fanatic, he spent a lot of time fantasizing about being the protagonist. The PC attendant. Bang greets him. The attendant asks if he's going to play Loyal Ground again. Seowoon confirms and asks for 10 hours. He also invested many hours in Loyal Ground, even though it's a game he played on his days off. After his discharge, he started playing seriously. He became one of the top 10 ranked players in 3 months. He tells his friend that he's coming in and to wait for him in the lobby. Seowoon even won some money in occasional tournaments. On the screen, the game Loyal Ground is selected. The game works like this. 100 players jump out of a plane. It's a survival game. They must collect weapons and fight until only one person remains. During the game, Seowoon spots 2 enemies. 120 degrees to 250 meters, he informs. The exchange of fire begins intense. One of the opponents is quickly shot down. There are only 2 players left in the match. Seowoon's friend gets excited. Seowoon complains about the noise of his friend already shot down. He decides to look for items and the safe zone before moving forward. The friend declares complete trust in him. Seowoon searches for the last enemy. Where did that guy with the skull mask go, he wonders. He carefully enters an abandoned building, seeing that the items are still there. It seems like the enemy didn't come through here. Free loot, thinks Seowoon. But suddenly the enemy appears right in front of him. It's the player with the skull mask. In an instant, the enemy opens fire. A notification informs him that his companion has been shot down. Damn, he was hiding here. I need to get out of here, thinks the fleeing player. The player tries desperately to escape, but Seowoon reacts quickly and shoots the fleeing enemy. Congratulations, you are the last survivor. The victory screen confirms first place among 100 players. The friend excitedly thanks for being carried, Seowoon only. He tells him to start the next game. It's past 10 at night. Seowoon decides that tomorrow he'll focus on studying. His phone vibrates again, catching his attention. He looks confused. It's a message from his mother asking about his studies. She sent money for the gym fee and some extra. Seowoon thanks him and says he'll go to bed soon. Later, he tells his friend that he won't play tomorrow. He needs to start his English course. His friend complains, remembering the promise of the clan war. He feels guilty every time he sees his mother's messages. He's been living like this for months. The night continues outside. Back in the room, Seowoon lies in bed, fiddling with his phone. He sees a strange news story online. People with mysterious powers have been seen abroad. These people call themselves gamers. Suddenly, the page crashes or the video has been deleted. Seowoon gets confused, tired. He decides to just go to sleep. The morning light starts to appear. The next day, his friend calls again. He asks for help to prepare for the clan war today. Seowoon hesitates for a moment. He wonders if he should help him in one last game. Something strange happens. A purple light starts to envelop him. Frightened, he wonders what's going on. What's that light? A purple glow surrounds the boy's body. He seems to be being disintegrated by an unknown energy. Even his backpack begins to glow brightly with the same mysterious purple energy. Soon after, the backpack falls by itself to the ground of a dark, abandoned alley. Unknown voices appear out of nowhere, speaking in a strange language about a bright ray. Suddenly, the young man wakes up in a grassy field. He wonders, confused, where the hell he is. Looking around, he notices a crowd dressed strangely and a giant statue. His confusion only increases. The boy thinks about the light that hit him, wondering if he was punished just because his desire to study disappeared for a day. An intense light momentarily fills his vision like a memory of the event. Falling on the grass, he complains about the loud noise around him, still trying to understand the strange situation. Nearby, a wizard and a warrior start a heated argument, ready to fight for some reason. Surprised, The protagonist watches the exchange of blows without understanding anything about what's happening in that place. He notices more people with different clothes, wondering why there are so many cosplayers gathered there. Seeing the wizard conjure real magic, the boy begins to doubt whether all of this is just a very realistic dream. His expression is one of pure disbelief. The reality around him seems completely distorted and fantastical. He once again stares at the crowd and the statue, lost about his current location and what to do. A notification sound appears, followed by a voice in his head that detects 100 players, scaring him. The eyes of the giant statue shine with an intense blue light, seeming to come to life. The voice announces the system's initialization. The boy recognizes the term, perhaps from games or stories he has read. The system completes 100% language synchronization. He realizes that he now understands what people are saying. Another chubby participant celebrates, excited to finally understand the language of the others present. A warrior with an angry face shouts, saying that he has been waiting for this day to face an enemy of his sect. The elf wizard named Escrow asks a skeleton named Chiron if he got them into this mess. Chiron returns the question. Angry, Escrow calls Chiron shameless, stating that he will no longer be fooled by his treacherous words. Chiron gives a sinister smile, saying that Escrow's belief does not matter because everyone will kneel before the power of the Demon King. As an archmage, Escrow gathers his power, making a promise as blue energy surrounds him intensely. He furiously declares that he will end Chiron right there and then defeat the aforementioned Demon King. The archmage launches a powerful electric attack, shouting the name of the technique, lightning-style escrow. However, after the attack impacts, Escrow's expression quickly changes to one of complete confusion. Chiron, completely unharmed, scratches his head, wondering why he felt nothing even after receiving the direct magical blow. The protagonist interrupts the discussion, accusing Chiron of having brought him there. Chiron mocks the accusation. Another notification sounds. The voice announces the start of the game, taking the protagonist completely by surprise. The difficulty is set to easy. The initial objective is to be among the top 90 in the game. The chosen map is the capital of the Kingdom of the King. Rewards will only be given for the first 10 or best. The tutorial is skipped. The voice informs that in the waiting room, attacks between players are completely neutralized. A kind of holographic map appears in front of the boy. He realizes with surprise that it is a game map. The voice of the statue returns, offering a brief explanation for those who are accessing Cloyd Survival for the first time. This game will progress for 100 years in game time. Each day, the playable map will become a little more limited. Leaving the safe area causes great damage. The game continues until there is only one survivor left at the end, or being eliminated. The player returns to their original world. Players who do not reach the top 90 in this round will not be able to participate in Cloyd Survival again in the future. Soon they will descend to the desired location with the help of the gaze of Argus. There they will be able to obtain items to help them stay in the top 90. The voice wishes good luck. Nervous. The protagonist wonders if he is dreaming about the game. Loyal ground. Maybe Cloyd Survival is very similar. The information about the rewards only for the top 10 echoes in his mind. He seems thoughtful about the difficulty. Even if this was just a dream, he seems to be considering something important about the situation. Around him are other players, many with strong and intimidating appearances ready to compete. Amidst these humans that he considers absurd and dangerous, his tension increases. The boy realizes the real danger, concluding that he will probably meet his end there if he is not careful. Even though it is a dream, he does not want to feel the pain of leaving. His determination to survive grows with each second. If this is really like Log, then he may have a chance to win. Suddenly, someone calls him Messy Hair. A brute warrior confronts him, asking why he keeps looking around and where he came from. The boy remains silent. The big guy gets irritated by the silence, shouting that he asked where the rookie was from and demanding an answer. The countdown to the start of the game starts at 3. The protagonist gives a slight, confident smile. 2. The warrior questions why he is laughing, calling him crazy. 1. The tension increases. The boy wonders internally why he is laughing in that tense situation. Maybe it is nervousness or confidence. He thinks he's in a fun dream, so he laughs with his knowledge of log skills. He believes he can win and survive. The final notification sounds, Cloyd Survival Day 1. Start a blue light envelops everyone to transport them. The players begin to descend quickly from the sky, enveloped in beams of blue light like meteors. Several participants fall towards the map below, each going to a different chosen point. He notices that most are descending in areas full of people where there are probably many valuable items. Following the logic of the game, these areas actually have more items, but he thinks it's better to start on the outskirts to be safe. He spots a more remote area with some houses, deciding that there should be a good place to start. With the chosen location in mind, he shouts the command to descend there immediately. An intense flash marks his arrival to the ground, accompanied by a scream due to the speed of the fall. The protagonist lands on the ground, assuming an impact pose to absorb the force of the arrival. He quickly recovers at the landing site, a grassy field near an abandoned house. However, he feels strong nausea because of the rapid descent, almost throwing up his breakfast. For now, he decides to enter the nearby house to recover from the nausea and look for useful items. As he approaches the door, he hears the sound of branches breaking nearby, becoming immediately alert. The boy curses softly, realizing that because of the nausea, he was unable to see if anyone else had landed near him. Without wasting time and sensing the danger, he runs towards the entrance of the house to take shelter. He quickly enters the structure, thinking that if he finds an enemy now without a weapon, he will be completely finished. Once inside the dark house, he turns around, panting and looking cautiously at the door that he has just closed. The boy sits on the floor for a moment to catch his breath, his heart still racing with adrenaline. He wonders, worried, if that angry warrior he provoked earlier followed him there, regretting his attitude. Very carefully and trying not to make noise, he peeks out the window to check the surroundings of the house. Apparently, there is no one outside. He wonders if the noise he heard was just the sound of the wind in the trees. Relieved that he no longer hears anything suspicious, he decides to get up and explore the inside of the house in search of loot. He remembers the system's clear instruction to obtain items where he landed, so he needs to look for them inside urgently. As he searches the dusty environment, his foot bumps into something solid hidden in the dark floor. Curious about what it could be, he looks down to see what he just found on the floor of the house. It was a heavy crossbow. A notification confirms the item obtained, but he finds the object a little too heavy to carry easily. Still, he thinks it is much better than being completely unarmed, so he picks it up and equips it. As soon as he equips it on his back, the knowledge of how to use the crossbow flows naturally to his mind like magic. He handles it with a certain surprising ease, remembering that for a sergeant in the South Korean army like he was, this is no big deal. Preparing the weapon to test, he mutters to himself that if he makes the right move, it will fire. And with a firm pull on the trigger, the crossbow fires a bolt with impressive force through the room. The boy is genuinely impressed by the power of the shot of that ancient weapon, letting out a wow. The fired bolt sticks deep into an old wooden barrel on the other side of the dark room. He smiles slightly, thinking that the crossbow will be extremely useful if he learns how to use it correctly during the game. After searching a little more through the rooms of the house, he unfortunately can't find anything else useful there. At least the map seems to be really huge, which can be an advantage for those who know how to explore. He thinks about the strategy. If he can avoid enemies at the beginning, he can safely collect resources all over the place. He continues exploring the outside area near the house and finds a small wooden box or chest on the ground. With the newly acquired crossbow ready for any eventuality, he cautiously approaches to open the suspicious object. Inside the box is an ancient scroll that emits a soft glow. He wonders what the hell that is. It's a small healing scroll. The system notification explains that tearing it instantly heals minor injuries, an item that restores health just by being torn. He thinks how convenient this is for a situation of survival. He realizes he urgently needs more recovery items like this and hopes to find a bag of items soon. His careful search continues around the neighborhood, and soon something else on a shelf catches his eye. This time it is an old martial arts book by the Black Star leader. The description says it allows you to project dark energy through your fingers. The system promptly asks if he would like to learn the technique in the book. The boy wonders if he can learn it so easily and if there is a tutorial. An intense purple energy takes over the boy's face. In front of him, a floating book shines with purple power. Details of the magical book are seen emanating its light. The boy wonders if that was all. The purple energy diminishes around surprised. He looks at his own hand, which still emits a glow. His palm continues to glow with the mysterious energy just absorbed, holding a fork. The purple energy still seems to surround his fingers. With a quick movement, he attacks using the fork as an improvised weapon. The impact of the fork creates cracks in the struck surface. A smile appears. He realizes he has just learned a martial art. The fork remains stuck in the wood, the result of his blow. Satisfied with the result, the boy thinks it is very good. He reflects that if martial arts books exist, it must be. There are also magic books. The young man concludes that the game's cloyed survival and loyal ground must be the same. Having searched everything there, he decides to look elsewhere. The sun has already risen while he was busy looking for items. Now he needs to quickly find a place to hide. His blue eyes shine in the night, watching his surroundings. He notices that only one distant house has its lights on. The boy thinks that the light being on means two possible things. Either there is a rare item hidden inside, or there is someone in that house. He feels a chill. The young man does not know how many people have fallen near him, but if there is someone there, he considers the possibilities. It could be an experienced professional player or a complete newbie. He listens carefully but does not hear anything on the first floor. The boy wonders if the person is hiding on the second floor. Having a weapon, he thinks about ambushing using his new Black Star chi palms, believing that even against a pro, he would have a chance. Cautiously, he begins to climb the stairs slowly. Silently, he reaches the top of the stairs. The young man peers over the top, ready for anything. He notices something shining in the corner, becoming alert. To his surprise, it was just a lit lantern. Suspicious, the boy wonders if it could be a trap. Near the lantern, he notices the door to a room. His gaze is fixed on the closed door, wondering what to do. Without hesitation, he kicks the door hard to open it. He enters the room quickly, prepared for a confrontation. The boy looks around, sweating a little from the tension. Realizing that no one is there, he becomes embarrassed with himself. Breaking the tension, he feels relieved to be alone. There on the table, he finds a ring, wondering if it is another item. A window appears, identifying the item as a strength ring that increases the attribute by 20. The boy wonders if he will become stronger just by wearing the ring. He puts the ring on his index finger. Immediately, a golden aura surrounds his hand and the ring. Surprised, the young man feels his body become much lighter. He can barely feel the weight of the beast on his back now. The increase in strength by 20 points means something important. He tries to call up his information status. The information window finally appears for him. Seeing his status, Jin Seowoon thinks it's pretty pathetic. He notices that his class is martial artist, probably because he learned the technique. Despite being low, he thinks the statuses are cool, considering he started with nothing. Deciding, he goes back to take a better look at the first floor. Amazingly, he finds another ring, this time with a purple gem. The boy comments that he keeps finding rings around new information. Windows explain how to use the subspace ring. To store it, just pick up the item and think or say subspace. If the subspace is full, you can't store anything else. He understands that it works like an inventory, replacing a bag. Testing it, he thinks of the word subspace. His hand is enveloped by a cosmic mist. The boy finds the sensation strange but very convenient because he doesn't need to carry weight. He thinks how useful it would be to have such an item in real life. The items and martial arts would be amazing if he could take them back. He checks the interface, wondering if there have been any eliminations yet. Looking. The interface, he is sure there will be a record of eliminations. The boy finds the record, confirming his suspicion. Only one player has been eliminated so far, 99 remain. He wanted to have farmed until only 90 remained, but the situation has changed. The boy managed to search houses and obtain many consumable items. He was lucky finding hidden weapons to use with his chi palms. Believing he has gotten everything, he wonders if he should move on. Staying there until dawn would be another option, but he ponders. The strong people he saw in the waiting room are walking around in the darkness. With his current level, Jin would definitely not be able to beat them now. But if he hides and stays in the top 10, he might be able to put points in good places like he did today. He decides there will be fewer people at night, so he goes to one more place before sunrise. Even though he moves a lot, he doesn't feel tired at all. The Ring of Strength is really amazing. He thinks gratefully. However, even with his increased strength, he still feels hungry and thirsty. Maybe Cloyd's survival is similar to reality in these aspects. He complains of hunger, not seeing anything to eat nearby. He is sure there will be food in the city, hoping to find it soon. According to the map, the city should be around there, but he wonders where the houses are, not seeing any buildings. A low, threatening growl comes from the darkness of the forest. Frightened, the boy turns quickly, hearing the sound very close. Instinctively, he prepares to fight, drawing his crossbow. He shouts to shoot, realizing he didn't hear anything approaching. The growl continues to come from the shadows between the trees. His eyes widen in fear when he identifies the creature. It is a huge, threatening werewolf standing in front of him. The creature advances with sharp claws, taking the young man by surprise. The attack tears through the air where he was a second before. To make matters worse, another werewolf appears next to the first one, growling. The boy thinks in shock that it was a PvP game. He didn't expect monsters. If he had known something like this was prowling, he would have stayed still. A monstrous creature roars at the boy. He watches with fear. Facing the beast, the young man shows a determined look. In close-up, his scarred face reveals pure determination. The boy prepares for the impact of the creature's blow. Angry, the young man screams as he takes action. Wielding his improvised weapon, he positions himself to attack. His blow hits the monstrous beast's head squarely. The creature roars again, throwing the boy back with force. A purple energy appears in his hand, and he invokes the subspace ability. Concentrating the energy, the Black Star Chi Palm technique is revealed. The energy blow hits the monster's chest with impact. The boy's weapon is stuck in the wall after the confrontation. He thinks determinedly that he cannot lose to a simple subordinate. Surrounded by energy shards, the young man seems stunned, relieved. He takes a deep breath, thinking that he was almost defeated. His feet stand firm on the ground, recovering from the fright. He thanks for having hidden the throwing dagger before he thought he would lose to the monsters. Looking at the ground, he notices a small, shiny bag. He wonders what that is, intrigued by the object. Examining the bag, he questions if it is a drop from the monster. Opening the item, he complains that it's just water and dried meat. Eating the meat, he thinks he should check his surroundings. The boy finds a piece of armor on the floor. He wonders if it's like a bulletproof vest from his world. Putting on the armor, he notices that it seems a little big for him. Surprised, he realizes that the armor automatically adjusts to his size. A window informs him that the advanced orichalcum breastplate has been equipped. His resistance to fire and wind magic has increased. Excited, he finds it incredible that the item increased more than 1 or 2 stats. Looking for more, he searches the shelves, hoping to find other items. Disappointed, he wonders if there's nothing else there. He spots a sneaker on the floor, wondering if it's a hidden item. Picking up the item, he notices that it seems to be made of a strange fabric. Another window appears, informing him that the night blanket has been equipped. When putting on the blanket, the system warns him that he will blend in with the darkness if he remains still. While hidden, he will not be detected by magic, and his sounds will be suppressed. Amazed, he thinks the item is sensational. He realizes that this means that he can avoid anyone at night, being the best item to survive. With this, he believes he can stay alive for as long as he needs. Excited and determined, he prepares to continue. He reflects that he was confused about the house in the middle of nowhere, but it was a farming location, and his luck improved on the second day. Night falls with a full moon shining in the starry sky. Walking through the dark forest, he thinks he didn't see anyone, and maybe he fell in a random place. Panting, he stops for a moment, listening to something. Suddenly, someone comes running and bumps into him. The newcomer complains angrily about the bump. He curses, thinking that if he had time to use that, an apprentice would be nothing. The two face each other in the forest, both panting. The other boy thinks he found a wizard there. Analyzing the protagonist, he thinks that the wizard doesn't seem strong and can take care of him. The opponent keeps running, trying to get away. The protagonist hesitates, reminding himself that it's just a game and not a real person. He needs to shoot. A red flame appears. It's the Flame of Scroll ability. A blast of fire is shot in the direction of the fugitive. The hit boy screams in disbelief, surprise, and pain. The fire consumes the place where the other player was. Observing the flames, the protagonist wonders if the other died. He is shocked for a moment, processing what happened. He notices a chest left behind, confirming that it is a game, since there is no body. Suddenly, a voice appears behind him, complaining that someone without magic dared to steal his items. The wizard calls the protagonist an unlucky wretch, saying that if he had only fallen to his sword, he would not feel the pain of burning hidden. By the blanket, the protagonist realizes that the wizard did not see him and passed right by, finding the blanket incredible. The wizard approaches the chest, telling the defeated player to feel honored for having fallen by his hands. Chiron prepares to check what the player dropped. The protagonist observes hidden, realizing that the person who died was a player like him, and he could be the next target. He understands that the moment he hesitates, someone will eliminate him and get a higher rank. His expression changes, becoming serious and determined. The protagonist's eyes shine with resolution. He understands that he needs to do what is necessary if he wants to survive. Chiron opens the chest, commenting that there were good things. Suddenly, Chiron notices something strange. His eyes widen. A bluish energy hits him full on, coming from an unexpected direction. Surprised, Chiron wonders if it's another player complaining that he made too much noise, and it's the fault of the bastard he just eliminated. The protagonist prepares his improvised weapon. He attacks Chiron with speed and strength. Chiron defends himself with a magic barrier, worried that it will break. The protagonist and Chiron face each other. The wizard asks if he's there. Chiron launches a fire attack, shouting, "Blow!" He demands that the opponent stop hiding and show himself. A throwing dagger flies at high speed. The dagger grazes Chiron, who narrowly dodges. Chiron's eyes show surprise and irritation. The protagonist uses his ability again, surrounding the wizard with energy. Chiron shouts over his barrier, asking where the bastard is hiding. The protagonist moves quickly, taking advantage of the cover of the blanket. Chiron tries to cast his magic. Fire again, shouting the name of the skill. The dagger hits him squarely in the head, interrupting the spell. He barely manages to finish saying the name of the technique. The protagonist delivers the final blow with his dark energy palm. He realizes, a little surprised, that he won the fight. Two chests appear in the place where Chiron was. Looking at the distant flames, he decides to farm quickly and leave so as not to be seen. He decides to check the wizard's chest first. The system informs him that he obtained gloves and a medium healing scroll. He finds the healing item good. Then he obtains the necklace of escrow, a pure gold necklace that signifies being a wizard of the Magic Society of Escrow. He realizes that it is an item with no properties, a piece of trash, deciding to keep it for now. Something else catches his attention in the inventory. He picks up a round and shiny object, wondering what it is. The system informs him that he obtained the Stone of the Circle that allows to engrave a circle in the user's heart to use mana. Once used, he can learn the magic of that circle. He realizes that he can become a wizard just like Chiron wanted to have done with him, wondering if that is mana. Seowoon remembers that he found a magic book while collecting items the day before. The book glows with a purple energy confirming its magical nature. The system identifies the item as the Wind Ball Magic Book. He creates wind spheres. He thinks he knows, confirming his suspicions about the item. A confirmation window asks if he would like to use the book. He presses the Yes button on the virtual screen. A blue light surrounds Seowoon as the book disappears. The boy is confused, not understanding what just happened to him. He realizes that the book made him learn the spell directly in his mind, finding it incredible. Concentrating, he tries to use the new magic ability. He invokes the spell by shouting Wind Ball. Small bluish wind spheres appear floating in front of his hand. He looks at the spheres, a little disappointed with the initial result. Seowoon wonders if that's all magic does. It seemed stronger. He gestures with his hand, controlling the small wind balls. The spheres are thrown forward, gaining speed. The impact of the wind balls destroys a nearby wooden shelf. Seowoon observes the destruction, admitting that he is stronger than he seems. He concludes that this skill will definitely be useful for survival. Suddenly he feels very tired, questioning the reason. The system shows that his mana is 0, confirming that it was due to using magic. As time passes, the restricted zone begins to appear on the map, gradually shrinking. Seowoon decides to collect resources while staying close to the boundaries of the safe area. He thinks that his chances of finding other players have decreased since half of them are gone. He needs to hurry and collect more items before the restricted zone shrinks even more. He stealthily moves through the abandoned city, staying alert. From afar, an old man in white robes watches Seowoon moving. The bearded old man finds the situation interesting, observing the boy. The old man nimbly jumps across the rooftops, following Seowoon without being noticed. Half a day later, Seowoon continues his exploration under the sun. He remembers seeing houses around here on the map, looking for resources. The boy is confused by the scene he finds, stopping suddenly. He arrives at an area with several open chests and broth marks on the ground. Seowoon is shocked by the sight, realizing that there was a fight there. Instinctively, he prepares his magic ball wind to defend himself. He fires the wind spheres at a pile of debris as a test. The wood explodes on impact, showing the power of magic. Seowoon wonders if it was just the wind still feeling something strange. He thought he felt the presence of someone nearby looking around suspiciously. His eyes widen when he notices something inside a destroyed house. The floor of the house is covered in broth, indicating recent violence. He sees an injured person leaning against the wall, still alive. Seowoon thinks they must be strong to have survived until now. He considers attacking them to take their items since they are injured. However, he decides to prioritize his own survival and leave, avoiding confrontation. He turns and starts to walk away from the place quickly. Seowoon enters the forest again, disappearing among the trees. Inside, the injured person watches. Seowoon leaves through the broken door. The injured man, a warrior in armor, sighs in relief that he is gone. He thanks for having hidden quickly. Otherwise, it would have been the end. The warrior grumbles that he would have easily taken care of Seowoon if he wasn't injured. He decides to quickly grab the items from the chests and get out of there as soon as possible. As soon as he approaches a chest, an arrow flies through the air. The arrow hits him squarely, making him scream in pain and surprise. The warrior falls to the ground, looking at his wound in despair. A blue magic arrow sticks in the ground near the chests. Seowoon reappears from the shadows, thanking him for coming out of hiding so quickly. He says he'll quickly collect the items and head to the edge of the restricted area. Suddenly, the old man who was watching him before appears, commenting that Seowoon seems skilled. He gets scared by the sudden appearance, realizing that he let his guard down. The old man tells him not to be afraid. He just wants to ask a few questions. Seowoon asks who he is, still suspicious and on guard. The old man replies that saying who he is wouldn't make a difference since they all came from different lives. Seowoon relaxes a little, noticing that the old man is different from the others he's met. The old man asks if Seowoon has ever participated in this kind of play. before. Seowoon questions what he means by play, confused by the term. The old man says he has been watching him for a while and noticed how quickly he adapted. Stating that this is not real, Seowoon wonders how he did not notice the old man asking how long he has been being watched. He replies that it is his first time here, but he has played something similar in his world. The old man finds the idea of a similar game interesting, noting that Seowoon is from another world. The old man comments that it got dark looking at the sky. Seowoon agrees, saying that it is already the third day there. Hurried feet mark the ground. It is already morning. Suddenly, an old man appears, scaring the boy, who denies having been a nuisance. Noticing the security next to the old man, the boy hears that he also enjoyed learning about his world. As a way of thanking the old man, asks if there is anything he can do for the young man. The boy then asks to learn his martial arts, needing help to survive until the end. With a thoughtful look, the master evaluates the boy's request. A slight smile appears on the old man's face. He comments that it would not be impossible. A drop of sweat runs down. Hope arises in the eyes of the young man. However, the warning is clear. He must be prepared for the worst. The boy then asks what that would be. The master reveals without beating around the bush that the worst thing is death. He then asks what the decision will be. To be successful outside of normal means, the elder explains that a high price must be paid. He asks if the boy is prepared for this, but the boy hesitates. The boy remembers that people don't die here, which makes the elder realize his mistake. Thoughtfully, the master murmurs that perhaps the method is possible. The boy excitedly asks if there is a way. "It's worth trying at least," says the elder, leaving the boy anxious to know what to do. First, the old man puts his hand on the boy's head, saying that he will see his internal energy, leaving the boy confused. The master's eyes widen in shock. He can hardly believe what he feels. "His internal energy is less than that of the dog in his house," exclaims the old man, shocked. The boy reinforces that in his world this does not exist. For now, the elder instructs the boy, asking him to sit in the lotus position. The young man obeys and sits while the master lands again. Hand on his head, he will feel excruciating pain without being able to move, warns the master. The boy asks nervously what he should do. The answer is simple: endure it. If he fails, the elder states that he will meet his end. Suddenly, all of the boy's senses become heightened. The wind on his skin feels like sharp blades. Breathing is like feeling lava in his lungs. He can even hear ants walking on the grass. His body and mind enter a state of deep concentration. An intense energy completely envelops him. The young man wonders if he is going to die. The pressure increases. His face shows the agony he feels. His eye reflects the whirlwind of energy that runs through his body. His vision focuses and then moves away, showing his solitary figure in the vastness. The scene returns to the boy meditating under the master's touch. Drops of sweat run down as he endures the process. Finally, the elder removes his hand, declaring that it is over. The boy chokes for air. The young man lets it all out. The master observes that his having endured shows that his body is good and in good spirits. Now that the flow of chi has been corrected, his body will be different. The boy asks what the next step is. The elder remembers the boy's desire to become strong as soon as possible. He confirms seriously. To do this, the master explains that he pushed his soul a little, creating an inspiratory gate in that space. Normally, people absorb chi just by breathing, but now he has another gate for special energy. The young man asks what has changed. Body, mind, and soul make up people. The old man explains that these three are held together by vital chi. The boy then asks what happens to vital chi if someone dies, assuming that it disappears. A drop of water illustrates the answer. The master says that he is wrong. Vital chi does not disappear, it disperses throughout the environment. Like drops of dew evaporating in the sun, the energy spreads. A single drop falls, symbolizing the return to nature. This dispersed chi is absorbed by nature, continuing the vital cycle. However, some see this cycle as waste. There are those who eliminate others to absorb their vital chi, but they become unstable and lose everything. The technique taught allows one to absorb the dispersed chi like them. The boy is scared, realizing that he could actually die. But the master calms him down, explaining that he used his soul to create the gate. Since he had no internal energy, the old man adjusted his veins. To absorb vital chi harmoniously, he asks if the young man understands why the technique is forbidden. The penny drops for the boy is because of the game settings. The elder likes how he picks things up quickly. He felt this yesterday reveals the master in the places where people died. There was remaining vital chi. The biggest problem with the technique is needing to eliminate others to succeed. The old man continues. But here that is not a problem. Listening attentively, the boy absorbs every word of the master to survive if he manages to eliminate others. At the end of the 100 days, he will have reached a considerable level. Having said that, the elder declares that it is time to part ways, wishing to see him again. But the boy interrupts him. Since he has received so much help, the young man asks him to say his name. At least, his name is Jang Docheon, reveals the master. Everyone calls him Deep Valley, still gently. The technique taught is white martial physical arts. The boy thanks him deeply, promising to never forget. The master advises him to get used to breathing deeply, accumulating energy in the dantian. Remembering something, the elder mentions the map, finding it convenient. He says goodbye, saying that he will see him again when the chance arises. The young man agrees. In the blink of an eye, the master jumps, disappearing among the trees. He disappeared very quickly, like a professional, the boy thinks, observing the place. If only he could use Qigong, he would be able to move more comfortably. It is better to follow the plan. He decides to go to the outskirts of the limited area. Being taken by the elder was an instant, but the walk took half a day. The map is bigger than he thought. Night falls, and the moon illuminates a small village. Looking at one of the houses, he notices the lantern lit even at night. It could be an empty house or a forgotten newbie. He decides to go there. Carefully, the boy runs towards his target. He sneaks into the dark residence. Armed with his crossbow, he advances cautiously through the hallway. It seems that he was right. It is time to farm some items. His expression quickly changes to disappointment. Damn, there are only useless items. He complains about having come for nothing, taking only a healing scroll and dried meat. A yawn escapes him. Remember that he didn't sleep at all because he talked to the old man all night. It's better to get some rest, thinks the exhausted boy lying down on the floor. The night continues. The moon remains high in the sky. A system notification appears indicating the 5th day of survival. The young man sleeps deeply, recovering his energy. Something makes him wake up suddenly. He notices something strange. Maybe the house wasn't empty after all. Looking at the window, he sees the silhouette of someone outside. Damn, the sun is already high. He grumbles about having slept too much like a baby. The front door slowly begins to open. A man with a mustache enters, sighing with relief at finally being able to rest. But his rest is interrupted. He realizes that he's not alone. The boy wastes no time aiming his crossbow and firing an arrow. The arrow flies straight toward the man. With quick reflexes, the target manages to dodge the projectile at the last second. An annoying martial artist complains, the young man preparing a new skill. He attacks with the Black Star Chi Palm. "You bastard! How dare you use hidden weapons!" shouts the man, unsheathing his sword. He quickly advances, ready for hand-to-hand combat. But the boy is faster, knocking down his opponent with a kick. He steps on the man's hand to stop him from grabbing his sword. The warrior screams in pain. "I was having a good dream, and you woke me up," the young man says. The man begs for his life, saying he'll do anything. He offers everything he has, shouting that he fought hard to survive and can't die there. The man's scream echoes as his life fades away. The system confirms the elimination by arrow. Jin Seowoon holds the bloody feather, thinking he can't die either. Thanks for watching. See you in the next part.